Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today, this is probably one of the weirder stories that I've covered here on my channel. Like, it is almost dystopian in a way when you take a look at what we're about to take a look at here. So, I know that, like, AI has kind of been a big thing for a few years now at least, right? You know, a lot of people have been kind of thinking about it in a science fiction type of way, right? But this is one of the weirdest things I personally have ever seen. So, today we're going to be taking a look at the case of an AI-generated rapper by the name of Meka, which has been making a lot of news stories recently, mostly controversial. And we're going to talk about why this whole situation's really going down, because it's honestly one of the weirdest things I could actually imagine coming out of like the rap industry. Truth be told, this is more or less a story of greed. This is the way that record labels now are trying to adapt to the new digital media age that we're in. Obviously, streaming has taken over, and obviously things go viral now way easier with things like TikTok out there. So basically, now these record labels are trying to make TikTok hits with AI generated rappers so that they can basically create product from nothing. I mean, it's just an algorithm that produces rap music for you. There's no personal connection to the music. There's actually no depth to the music because it has nothing to base itself on. Really, I think it's kind of a stupid idea in the first place, but it's actually been such a big news story recently because of all of the controversy that it's generated. Alright, so meet Meka. This is the AI rapper that we'll be talking about here, and basically this is footage from the TikTok account that has 10.3 million followers. Yes, this actually has more followers on its social media accounts than most legitimate Billboard charting rappers have on their own personal social medias. This thing is being marketed in perhaps one of the most genius ways possible. The idea of an AI rapper is honestly pretty controversial, and for good reason. So one of the big things about music is basically you get a connection with the artist in a way, right? You want to have a connection with the music, and for me personally, it's very hard for me to imagine having any sort of connection to an AI rapper's music. Like, it's just actually auto-generated soundtrack. That's all it is. There's nothing to it. There's no substance. There's nothing that makes it honestly unique or really cool in any way. It's just generated stuff. You know, personally, it's impressive technology, but it's not impressive enough to get me, right? But obviously, it has tens of millions of followers, and it's doing pretty well, you know what I mean? That the attention is definitely there. So in terms of getting eyes on this project, the record labels and the people behind this definitely have been pretty successful, I would say. But it's actually controversial because of a racial issue with this thing. As you can see from the footage, one of the big issues that people are taking with this is this Meka rapper here doesn't appear to be a person of color. Now, why is that controversial? Well, not just because it's, you know, appearing to be white, but because it uses the N-word in its songs. So this has actually upset a lot of people because, well, the way they see it, you basically have this white rapper that you're pushing that's saying the N-word in its music. And even if it's AI generated or not, they have also made point that the programmer or the person behind the artificial intelligence itself is also white. So they basically are taking issue with the idea of a white guy programming a white rapper to say the N-word, right? And another issue that's arisen is the, I guess, marketing slash artwork for this Meka rapper. There was a controversial, I guess, piece of content that they uploaded with this rapper that got a lot of people upset, and that was because they believed that it was mocking police brutality. Police brutality, what should I do? This guard keeps beating me with his baton because I won't snitch. I ain't no rat. Life in prison is so depressing. I wish I could get out so I could start making fire music again. And it's this dude getting beaten up in prison by the cops. So obviously you can see, I think, the correlation on why people are upset about this, you know. It comes off as basically mocking a serious issue, right? Police brutality is a real issue. There are problems where the police do abuse people and abuse their rights, and you basically have this record label slash programmer getting rich off the concept of creating a fake rapper that plays on racial stereotypes and also plays on stereotypes of the rap industry. For a lot of people, it just straight up feels like this artist, quote unquote, and I say that very lightly, is basically mocking people and their culture. So it's become extremely controversial to the point that people started speaking out about this whole thing and basically coming to the conclusion that they didn't want to listen to its music or really pay it any much more mind, but to say that it's a piece of shit, So people are really going in on FN Meka here. Don't let the follower counts fool you. There are a lot of people who are basically against this, right? Now, personally, I don't really care, I just feel completely disconnected from the situation, you know what I mean? I feel like personally I could feel no connection to this artist, so I don't really care, you know what I mean? If this was an artist that I would genuinely give a chance to listen to, it would be a lot more of a situation for me personally. I'd be like, yeah, I feel one way or the other, but I definitely understand why people are against this. It just feels like a massive mockery. One thing about rap culture in specific is you have to find a way to kind of fit into the culture in a way. And most successful artists do find a way to fit into rap culture. But this AI has no connection to rap culture. It's just created as a product. There is no backstory. There is no, coming from rags to riches kind of story. There is no creative depth. There is no real personality. It's essentially just a glorified NFT that a marketing agency probably came up with on behalf of Capitol Records or whoever, so they could try to sell some easy records without having to really, scout out an actual person. In this instance, I understand where they come from, right? When you can spend $30,000 and create an AI-generated rapper that could make you $40 million in 10 years, why would you pay people to scout talent and actually go try to find talented people who are maybe a little bit more niche than this artist can be, because it can literally just create any noise that it thinks is popular, when you can just do this and you can try and get a jump start on the future in a way, right? That's what this really is. It feels like a massive gimmick product, right? It feels like they're just like, hey, this technology exists, let's create this and make it, popular. That's not what I'm looking for when I'm listening to rap music. I listen to probably dozens, if not hundreds, of different rap artists in my playlists in any given year, right? And I cannot imagine that there would ever come a time where I would legitimately consider an AI-generated rapper, because most of the music that I listen to, especially in rap, I like to try to actually decipher the meaning or the message behind it. I like to try to, maybe look at it from that artist's perspective and try to get a different kind of, vibe for what the song could actually be. You can't really do that with this because it's just created in order to satisfy an ear itch. It's TikTok background music, you know what I mean? There is no substance here. There is no reason other than just simply to make profit for millionaires. It's really out of touch with the culture that it's trying to interact with. And in general, it just doesn't seem like it's even a, good-hearted attempt, if that makes sense. It really comes off more as like a mockery slash NFT. Like I said, it feels like it just takes whatever stereotypes about rap music it can find and just plays off of those for popularity, It's got a lot of people up in arms. It's got a lot of people who just think it's ridiculous, and actually, there is an ending to this story. There is a conclusion, because with all of this controversy that's been generated and all of these negative opinions, to the point that media outlets began calling it out and covering it too, it does turn out that, well, it's actually over with, because Capitol Records cut ties with FN Meka after several days of social media backlash. They also published this statement that I'm going to read now. We've severed ties with the FN Meka project effective immediately. We offer our deepest apologies to the Black community for our insensitivity in signing this project without asking enough questions about equity and the creative process behind it. We thank those who have reached out to us with constructive feedback in the past couple of days. Your input was invaluable as we came to the decision to end our association with the project. Now, honestly, I feel like this is short-sighted, right? Obviously, they're giving a very corporate response, but the truth of the matter is, this project already has the TikTok followers, it already has that name out there now, so it's not like this project is probably going to disappear into thin air. Accounts don't just garner 10 million followers on TikTok for no reason. It's consistently getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views on its TikToks. Now that people are covering it even more, it's definitely going to have have more reputation as well. So it's kind of at the point now where even if it doesn't have that backing from like this record label or whatever, there's a good chance that another record label will either pick it up, or even if they don't decide to go down that route again where they sign the deal or whatever, there's a good chance that it's already developed enough that somebody could legitimately try to run this and make money off of it. And I don't say that because like, oh, I support this project or anything. More or less, it's just kind of the reality of the situation. Just because this record label is over with them doesn't mean this is the end of the project. So I wonder where it's going to go from here, if they're going to make any adjustments to it, or if they're going to try to actually, you know, maybe work through some of the issues that people have with the project. My issues with it personally, I feel like are a little deeper rooted in the idea that I want something that's actually genuine. I don't see a way for them to fix that for me. But at the end of the day, this is one of the weirdest up and down stories I've ever heard. And it's unfolded so quickly. Like, I've been watching this happen. I remember seeing this a few days ago and I was like, wow, this is a very weird project for people to work on. And then now it's just completely done with this Capitol Music Group and whatever. So I just wanted to make a video talking about this. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus talking about FN Meka and signing out.